This is an important video for these players at Weber State, and I'm going to send it to them, and they watch them. And you got the best team maybe in the history of this Weber State in the D since Justin Thigpen and Willie Soldier and the old Swenson. I got a hunch this team is possibly could go into the tournament with nearly 30 wins, maybe a 4-loss team, but this is important for you guys. I want you guys to understand, because the NCAA committee, the way it works. Now, they had bracket busters for a while. Now, Weber, when Lillard was on the floor, Lillard's best game he ever played, I was full of cancer, sucked up. I got to come out with my nerves. They played Texas Arlington, who was this dynamite team, and Lillard lit them up. Weber drilled them. Weber probably would have got maybe as high as an 11th seed. They lost that championship game right here. They were ahead by 20 points. This is the flaw of the tournament, but Weber, that's not going to matter this year because they're so good on the road. So, got to go out to Boise. You got to win that tournament. You have to win that tournament. If you do not win that tournament, you're not going anywhere, because they're not going to give the Big Sky hasn't won a tournament game. Weber won in '99, and then Montana with Krasowiak, I think, won in 2000. They haven't won a tournament game since, so they got no respect. So they put a lot of weight into these games. That loss at Fresno here and BYU and Utah State, those 3 losses, which this team's a whole different team than that now. I get that. They're a completely different team. It's going to really hurt you in the selection committee. You go in there with a 30-win season, which this team could. You might, if you can win that tournament. I mean, you could go as high as an 11th seed, but that's not going to happen because of those losses, because there's no bracket busters. So, I want people to understand this, but it doesn't matter. This team's that good. You're going to get, if you can win and get in, the best case scenario, you're going to get a 14. No respect on this committee. No respect, because the Big Sky has gotten wiped out in every freaking game. I mean, they get in that tournament and they get killed. Weber had that great team with, in 2003, an incredible team with Craven's coach. They ran the table, and, Jeremy Boyette, but they got beat by Wisconsin at home, but I think they were a 14 seed. And that was an undefeated season in the Big Sky. Now, Weber's only loss up there in Montana was on a fluke shot. But this team is all that. It's all that. They're fastly becoming one of the great three-point shooting teams. Well, I'll guarantee the best three-point shooting team in the history of this building is this Weber State team. They got talent like no other. I mean, and they were a slashing team. They're not. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country now, since Bassett got healthy. Look out, that's all I got to say. So I want to send this and make sure. And for everybody else in Snow, Utah, there's no snow. There's no snow in Snow, Utah. And I'm using my Lillard for 3. I need help backing up my content because Google's going after me. But this team, and I knew it when I first saw them. Now, those 3 losses, it was a whole different team, man. And it was a fluke. Utah State just went crazy. BYU, it was a fluke. And then, of course, that Fresno State, talk about some junkyard dogs. But it's important that you guys get this. You cannot lose in that tournament in Boise. You cannot. And then you're going to get a chance. Randy Ray's never won a tournament game. He's been in 3 times, and they've been drilled. They came running late. With Ball and Boy should have won that game at Arizona, but such a bad start. You can't get down by 20 in the tournament, which they did. They should have beat Xavier. They didn't even show up in that game. And then, of course, when they played his first year with the great Dave Patton, they didn't show up. I was at that game. Ben Howland played in this building, and I think the score was like 34-6. It was ridiculous. You got to be ready. You've got to win this. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been here since the 60s. I haven't missed a game. I never miss any games here unless I'm, out on the road protesting Diablo Canyon or whatever, the Wattis curse. Let's break this fucking Wattis curse. Let's break this year. It's right here. I really think it's now or never with this team. They're that fucking good. They are that deep. And so it's time. This curse has been on this fucking school, on this building for way too fucking long. Way too long. Let's fucking end this fucking curse. So, this is the best team Weber's ever had, talent-wise, in this pile. And that's saying a lot. They lost in the championship game in that CIT, Damian Lillard's cousin, Barry. But they made it all the way, when they had that other tournament. They don't have that tournament. There needs to be another fucking tournament. But you have to go to Boise and you have to be fucking you got to run this fucking table. And you could go in. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been around for a long time. I watched a lot. I watched Jason Kidd's last game in there. He got booted out of the tournament by a 14 seed. I watched Jimmy Valvano cut down the fucking nets in there. Talk about upset. And remember, Valvano had to win games. They went into their tournament as I think a 4 or 5 seed. I think they were an 8 or 9 seed, won the NCAA championship. But they had to win double overtime game. They beat Utah in there, but you know, they had some nail biters, but a little winning momentum. So it's the best team Weber State's ever had by far. I'm telling you, this team is something. Fastly becoming one of the great three-point shooting teams in the country. You have to win that Big Sky because there's no love for the Big Sky. Because the Big Sky has been that pathetic in the tournament. Well, they get no love. Arnie Farron used to be head of the committee. He's from Ogden High. He's still alive. But they booted him to the side. So it's now or never. Snow, Utah. Driest January in the history of the state. And nobody's even talking about it. But break this fucking Wattis curse. Right here, right now. January 30th, 2022.